Alrighty, greetings. Forgot to adjust my microphone. What's up? We're live on Substack, YouTube, and on Odyssey. Welcome back to Blackburn News, home of the Rockford Files theme song, and also the Big Bear sounds. All right, thanks for being here, guys. We're gonna get right into it because I cannot go long today. I'm gonna have to be succinct about ending the show at 1. But I'm glad you're all here. If you want to chat on Substack, I've got the chat on Substack. If you want to watch on Odyssey, I've got the chat up on Odyssey. Really appreciate people tuning in on alternative platforms and getting familiar with that so that it's not a shock if for some reason I'm not on YouTube or whatever. So also I feel like I can build a more what my community looks like would be more truthful on these other platforms. I'm assuming that, again, I assume that with a hefty dose of skepticism, right? So maybe all platforms are compromised, or maybe all platforms in the future will be compromised, or maybe, whatever. But I'm just trying to go to places that are not lying to me and to my viewers and committing fraud. And YouTube is definitely doing both of those. X is definitely doing both of those. That's why I stopped streaming on X and paying for their service. So yeah, just trying to build, hopefully this community can go to a place where it can be, more truthfully represented. And I don't have to guess. People don't have to guess about like who, what's going on, who's here, who's watching, what, who's getting the notifications, blah, blah, blah. All right. Hey, Kate, how you doing? Kate's watching on Substack. Like to hear that twice, right? Can't always get the updated chats on Substack, but I'll probably I see them on the screen. All right. We'll start with this. It's a good little meme. I know you can't see my screen on Substack, and I apologize for that. I don't know why they won't let people just stream to Substack. It's not that hard, I don't think, but they forced me to stream from my phone, which I don't really want to do, but this is what we got. Eventually, hopefully, Substack will have a live stream to the site feature where I can just hook up. I can just hook up StreamYard or OBS or whatever I'm using, and everybody can see the screen. That's where I'm hoping that Substack gets to. You can see all of that on Odyssey if you're watching on Odyssey. This is great. Great meme that I found on Substack. And that's true. We need justice for Palestine, not just a ceasefire, not just peace. We need the end of apartheid. Probably the end of Israel. I know, people might be like, what? Israel is an anti-Semitic creation anyways, if you're up on game. But also, the people that commit the atrocities need to be held accountable. And I know, go ahead and laugh long and hard at that one. It doesn't seem to happen these days, right? That the big boys, the people with the power and the money and all that, ever get held to account. Gone are the days when people got put in prison or worse. But here's hoping maybe those days will come back. Do we have it twice here? I guess we do. Let me see. Speaking of held to account, King Charles is taking action against his brother, Prince Andrew. Here's a statement. His Majesty has today initiated a formal process to remove the style, titles, and honors of Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew will now be known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Just some dude named Andrew. His lease on Royal Lodge has to date provided him with legal protection to continue in residence. Formal notice has now been served to surrender the lease, and he will move to alternative private accommodation. These censures are deemed necessary, notwithstanding the fact that he continues to deny the allegations against him. Their Majesties wish to make clear that their thoughts and utmost sympathies have been and will remain with the victims and survivors of any and all forms of abuse. um. So yeah, it's pretty strong. So what I guess that means they're saying they're not going to provide him with legal protection anymore. Whoa. Sure. I believe you. Somebody, a lot of people jumped in and said, "Oh, really? King Charles is censuring Prince Andrew?" Okay, he was a big fan and friend of Jimmy Savile, and if you think that he hung out with him but just didn't know anything about what was going on, you might want to rethink that position. And in related news, the Keir Starmer and the Labor government are less popular than Prince Andrew. Oh, how could you resist with a face like that? Is it any wonder? I mean, just like in the States, though, I don't think that the Tories would be any more popular. They've gone through a lot of PMs in the last couple of years, and it's been a lot of fails, a lot of oopsies. Um, yeah, and if you think that Trump is super popular with the people, I don't, that's all. It's all propaganda bubbles. There's not, the leaders of the U.S. are not popular in any way, shape, or form with the regulars, and shouldn't be. Got a couple people watching on Odyssey. Cool. Thanks for watching on Odyssey. I got the chats up. Let's see what's else. What else? People are having a hard time making monthly car payments. Consumers across all income categories are struggling to make their monthly car payments, with more than 1 in 5 borrowers paying more than $1,000 a month per Edmunds. That's a lot of dough for a car, but cars are super expensive, just like everything else. Worse, terrible quality and much higher price. Um, let's see. More on capitalism, or you could read that as moron capitalism. Capitalism provides us with an abundance of things we don't need: pollution, microplastics, ultra processed foods, stress, and a scarcity of the things we do: free time, clean air, healthy food, relaxation. Exactly, Salt Lakers. Oh, I've forgotten the chats again. Um, what about Tony Blair? Did Trump change his mind about being the guardian of Palestine? I don't know. Who knows? You don't, apparently that plan is still going through, but you don't really hear, Israel's still going ham, even if it's not kosher. Um, Still going ham. Under the supposed ceasefire. Oh. Oh. um, Speaking of supposed ceasefire, these are kind of older news items, but I don't know that we covered them, and they don't seem to be in the. They don't seem to be in the discussion too much. Colombia expelled Israeli diplomats and ends trade agreement following flotilla detentions. This is from October 2nd. And Petro has been very outspoken against it's not real. So much so to the point that he's pissed off. Trump has mentioned how much he dislikes Petro. What if people knew that Israel is deeply involved in behind things like cutting SNAP benefits because they want to deflect any attention? I mean, that wouldn't surprise me, Salt Lickers. Well, Tony Blair is not a popular person. He's like George Bush. Like George Bush is pretty much gone away from public view for the most part. He's not a popular dude. He shouldn't be. Anyways, Colombia's President Gustavo Petro announced Wednesday night that his government had expelled Israel's. Oh my God! Look out! Israel's delegation to the country and severed free trade after 2 Colombian citizens traveling on the Gaza flotilla were detained. His announcement came after Israeli forces intercepted some 40 boats carrying aid and more than 400 foreign activists Gaza in an attempt to break Israel's blockade. 2 Colombian citizens, Manuela Bedoya and Luna Barreto, were reportedly detained on Wednesday by Israel's Navy. In response to the news, Petro condemned the detention and responded with fresh sanctions against Israel. Fresh sanctions. The free trade agreement with Israel is immediately terminated. The entire Israeli diplomatic delegation in Colombia is withdrawn from the country. Petro has been vociferous, and I do like that word, vociferous critic of Israel's offensive in Gaza. I'd say it's offensive. Designated a genocide by the UN. And pretty much any other person that has 2 brain cells to rub together, and had already expelled most of the country's mission from Colombia in 2024. Israel's ambassador, Gali Dagan, left Colombian soil in June 2024, after which the country's mission was confined to a consulate in Bogota. As of yesterday, the consulate had 40 employees, 4 of whom were Israelis with diplomatic status, according to AFP. The 4 diplomats are expected to leave following Petro's order. Meanwhile, the suspension of the free trade agreement, for now, a largely symbolic move. The first thing to note is that the president cannot do this on his own. It has to go through Congress. Oh, wow. Kind of like what's supposed to happen in the U.S., right? Things are supposed to be approved by Congress, not by executive order. And once terminated, Colombia's commitments to Israel remain in force for 6 months. While it may not produce substantial material effect, Petro's move was welcomed by pro-Palestinian activists around the world. So there you go. Petro attended a pro-Palestine protest in New York City and called on U.S. troops to disobey Trump's orders. I like that guy. I like that guy. If you're whatever platform you're watching on, if you could like up the video and Give a thumbs up or something. In related news, this is also an old story. Spanish MPs back move to enshrine arms embargo on Israel. Well, this is from October 8th. Decree bans all exports of defense equipment, products, or technology to Israel and imports of such goods from Israel. Spanish parliament has voted to enshrine in law an arms embargo on Israel that the Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez introduced to end the genocide in Gaza. Parliament backed by 178 votes to 169. Call that a squeaker. The decree announced in September by Sanchez, one of the strongest critics of Israel's devastating 2-year-old war in the Palestinian territory. The support of the far-left party Podemos, which has 4 MPs, helped swing the vote the leftist minorities coalition way after speculation about their lawmakers' positions. Podemos had previously criticized the decree, arguing it did not go far enough. The government said it had already banned buying weapons from or selling them to Israel since the start of the war, which was sparked by the unprecedented Hamas attack on Israel, or whatever that you want to call it. Blah, blah, blah. All right. What? Oh, no. The old dirty Sanchez. And I guess we're going to stay in the region. News coming out of Venezuela that Maduro has ordered the mass distribution of rifles across the country to arm the workers against a possible United States invasion. While the U.S. is planning to confiscate your guns, the Venezuelan president is like, hey, y'all need a gun? Netanyahu has AIDS? Are you serious? Somebody, I saw somewhere that maybe he had cancer. I don't know. Does anybody have any real dirt on his health? President Nicolas Maduro has ordered the mass distribution of rifles across the country to arm the workers against a possible United States invasion. The arms, he said in a speech, will go to the coasts, the mountains, cities, villages, plains, hamlets, borders, popular neighborhoods, all in order to defend our rights, our peace, our lives, and our sovereignty. In 1973, Chilean President Salvador Allende failed to arm the workers in the face of a U.S.-backed coup against him, a decision historians agree was a fatal mistake. 8 million Venezuelans are part of civilian militias sworn to defend the country from internal or external threats. Well, we'll see. We'll see if a guerrilla war of regular citizens against the U.S. trying to occupy them, if that breaks out in Venezuela. Man, bought some new coffee. It is delicious. Just wanted to tell you that. Coffee update over here in Black Bear News Studio is that the coffee is delicious. This is breaking news. Let's see. According to the new Bill Gates stance on climate change, we have cut emissions by 40%, our future emissions, future emissions. Some old magical something. Have we cut future emissions by 40%? Remember way back in the lazy, hazy days of COVID when emissions dropped by like 6% because the entire world shut down? Yeah. Supposedly the entire world shut down. Well, not the entire world, but a lot of cars stopped driving. Supposedly. 6% or something like that. Some people say 7, some people say 4. I don't know. All I know is it wasn't anywhere close to 40 or 10 or 20. So are we anywhere close to a 40% drop? I don't think so. I'm curious about this graph though. So this is an interesting graph because in 2020, see the little dip, the 6% or whatever it was? That's it. Here we are still going up though, right? This is the 2014 IEA projection of where the emissions were going to go from 30 at the time, or maybe let's see, they were above 30 at the time to 50. And supposedly this is where we're on track for. But that is a dotted green line. That's a dotted pink line. You still see people wearing face masks? Oh yeah, of course. Of course. Okay, good, Schultze. Your heart's in the right place. Anyway, so there was a dip here. I mean, it looks like emissions might be slowing a bit, but they're still going up. They're still going higher. And supposedly, magically, today's the day when they start going down. Again, according to the dotted green line, they're going to start going down immediately. And according to Bill Gates. I don't believe that. Worth knowing because in real life we haven't cut emissions by 40%. A horrifying 19 to 58% of species risk extinction by 2050. Yeah. Yeah. And even if we cut emissions by 40%, supposedly, there are no plans to stop making emissions, guys. There's no plans to stop expanding human civilization. So I just don't know how that happens. But let's say they even steady out to 30. They're still warming in the pipe. So I don't know what we're going to do about that. I don't know what we're going to do about that. Where's the magic? Where's the magic technology, bro? Where is it? Yeah, yeah. Let's see. People don't like ice. And why should they? Ice sucks. Ice is basically the new secret police or Gestapo or whatever you want to call them. Trump is throwing so much funding at. Did Congress vote on this? Did Congress vote to fund all this ICE stuff? I wonder. Gregory says American presidents seem to be able to stop the Gaza genocide, but T. Rump must have changed his mind. I mean, I think I heard him say something like, "Hey guys, we should stop that." Something forceful like that. I cannot overemphasize how incredibly urgent it is that we dismantle and destroy ICE. They have created a militarized force unaccountable and with virtually unlimited resources at its disposal. They will use this force against anyone at any time for any reason. That is the point. That's the point. To kind of get people, I don't know, to get people to fight back. Somebody was saying that maybe they were gonna that the SNAP benefits running out was going to set off the Civil War or something. I mean, I don't know, maybe. But maybe this was part of the engineering the chaos, Civil War chaos or something, right? Like you have ICE agents out now everywhere. Then you cut off SNAP benefits and people start getting pissed because they're hungry. And then people start rioting, and then you go Insurrection Act, and then then it's martial law. I don't know. But I don't know what else you're supposed to do in the face of that, right? Like, what are the alternatives? Sit around and complain? Ariana has an idea. She says, make agents unwelcome everywhere. Make ICE agents unwelcome everywhere. Don't let them use your establishment's restroom. Don't serve them food or water. Don't let them park where you are at. Don't let them sit down either, because becoming an ICE agent is a choice. Make them regret it. Yep. Definitely those dudes should be shunned, disowned, unfriended, unfamilied, talk shit to. I love that guy that was like, "You broke motherfucker. You're doing this for the money, you broke ass. You weak ass. Weak." Because literally, the real way to dismantle rice, I was going to say ICE, is if people just said, "Nah, no thanks, we're not doing it." But yeah, it's basically that's what they're trying to do. Oh, there was another post I had. Where to was it? Word, is this some? This is a pretty good Halloween costume here. This is Halloween costume. This is just somebody hanging. Thanks for the memes, Victory Jen. I appreciate it. Um, let's see. Where is this other post I had? Hold on, guys. Give me a second, for crying out loud. Will you guys just pipe down? Tell us. Oh, my new brand of coffee. It's called Cello Rojo. I don't know what cello means. Is it I read it as red seal or something like that. Oh, stamp. Red stamp in Spanish. Celo rojo. And it's well, I bought it because it was cheap. It's espresso coffee. And the coffee that I usually buy has gone up like freaking 40% in the last like 3 months. So I'm just like, dude, I'm not gonna, used to cost me like $6 or maybe $7 for a brick, and now it costs $11. I'm like, dude, no. It's almost 50%. Or no, almost almost double. Almost 100%. My math is off. That's a lot. It's gone up a lot, right? $11 from $6 is close to 100%. It's almost doubled. That is insane, man. I don't know if that's tariffs or inflation or both or whatever. But anyway, so I went to the store and I was looking for coffee, and there was this brand that was like $5 for a brick, and there was only one brick left. It was sold out, obviously, because it was cheap. And I was like, why not? I'll try it out. It's pretty yummy. I like it. So I'm gonna go to the store and see if they have some more. I'm gonna buy a bunch, buy like 4 or 5, and stock up. But if you can find it, it's pretty delicious. Yeah, I heard tariff coffee. Cafe El Moro. $5 eggs in British Columbia. Buy enough to get me through the Venezuelan war. Yeah, that's my plan. Well, yeah, basically. I used to drink La Llave. And strangely enough, La Llave hasn't really gone up too much. But when I used to travel, you could get La Llave in Florida for like $2.50 a brick. It was just super cheap in Florida. So whenever I went to Florida, I would buy like 10 bricks or 20 bricks of coffee and just put them in the back of my car and just drive around with them. My car smelled great. But I kind of got over La Llave. But the other kind that I drink is Cafe Bustelo, which I like, but it's freaking expensive, man. I don't understand why it's gone up so much. Like to the point where I'm just like, I'm good. I really don't need to drink it that hard. So let's see if they have some more Celo Rojo at the store. Um, word them up. Um, Bustelo is I actually like Bustelo a lot. That's why I started drinking it, because it was a little more than La Llave, but I was like, okay, it's fine. It's worth like $1 more or $2 more or whatever. But like now it's like $6 more than La Llave. I'm good. I'm good on that. It is freaking expensive, man. And I don't really get it. Like it's good, but it's not that good. I could get, you know, some super high grade organic coffee for that price. Um, I heard they were bought out by some, like, Uban or Folgers or some major coffee line. And so I'm wondering if they're just doing hey, we're a big corporation and let's just steal money from people because we can, right? Like, oh, people like this Bustelo coffee. Let's charge them double and see if they still buy it. It's just freaking insane. El Moro looks like Bustelo also is espresso coffee. Oh, really? Well, hey, say no more. Cafe El Moro. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I see it. Cafe Moro. Yes, sir. I see it. Cielo Rojo. See, they have Cielo Rojo on Amazon. Maybe I'll just, I probably shouldn't use Amazon. They have Cielo Rojo for super cheap. Okay. Well, okay. Oh, El Moro is from Puerto Rico? Cool. Maybe I'll get me some El Moro. I don't know. There's even a head-to-head taste test with Bustillo. I might have to watch that video. Yeah, it's just so expensive, Zaliba, though. Damn. Like, man, I really like it, but man, it's just tough for me to go like, what? It's $11 now for a brick? Like, are you serious? Like, I can't. I just can't do that. I just cannot. But the Cielo Rojo is pretty good, I have to say. I recommend. All right, let's stop talking about coffee. But I love coffee. I love it so much. I love it so much. I gotta cut back. I love it too much. All right, we're got two more things to cover. TJ Maxx, is that where I need to go? All right. Shocking truth of who really owns the American Cancer Society. Yeah, the people trying to raise money for cancer are the same people trying to give you cancer and then give your cancer up. I'd say up 90%, Salipa. It was literally like $5.99 or $6.99 like 3 months, like literally 3 months ago. It was like $6 or $7, and now it's $11. No. No. Same corporations fueling disease are the same ones funding the nonprofits that say they want to cure it. There's a massive amount of profit going on in the nonprofit realm, billions of profit, in fact. The American Cancer Society is taking in billions of dollars in donations every single year. Who really benefits when there's a benefit 5K run or a fundraising walk? Look who funds the American Cancer Society. Pharmaceutical giants like Pfizer, Merck, Genentech, Gilead, Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca, and Bayer, the same Bayer that bought Monsanto, the company behind Roundup, glyphosate, and Dicot. Insurance giants such as Anthem and United Healthcare. You think, yeah, that makes sense, right? The American Cancer Society is fully involved in stopping, basically squashing any cures. Rough. Insurance giants such as Anthem and United Healthcare, food and retail giants like Walmart, Nestle, Beyond Meat, Hormel, Tyson, pushing ultra-processed products tied to poor health. Chemical and big oil corporations like Chevron, Phillips 66, industries connected to toxins and pollution. Big banks and casinos are on the list. These are the sponsors behind the organization that claims to fight cancer. Oh.
Before you decide to donate to one of those cancer charities, watch this and listen to what he says.
The American Cancer Society was founded. And if you go look up their mission statement that they created, why they created this nonprofit organization, American Cancer Society, it was solely to receive donations. That's their mission statement, to receive donations, to fund research, to cure and eradicate cancer from the earth. I did a presentation 2 years ago in California, and I said, I want to show you guys something. The American Cancer Society, on their website right now, and I showed the website, it says, we do not know what causes cancer and no cancer is curable. I put up on the screen for the years of COVID only, their tax return revenue reporting to the government of the United States. They have been given in 5 years, $4.5 billion just in the last 5 years. And they still don't have a cure for cancer, nor do they know how to treat it.
Before you decide to donate to one of those cancer charities, watch this and listen.
I would say don't. I would say don't. A lot of those charities, especially the big ones, are ones to avoid, you know. And in the case of cancer, like, I don't know who you would donate to if you wanted to donate, but I would say like awareness is, you know, general health awareness is probably the best thing you could involve yourself in and involve others in, as far as like being in good health, taking care of yourself. All the things that they were telling you would be good things to do to fight off COVID, fight off any disease, which is eat, you know, fruits and vegetables, eat, you know, stay away from sugars, you know. I have a hard time staying away from dairy, but I don't eat that much dairy. Not too much dairy. If you're eating meat, not too much meat. You know, get plenty of exercise. It's, you know, yada yada yada. Get some sunlight. Get some vitamin D. Get some, you know, like, take care of yourself, right? Don't be. That's real body positivity. Not to shame anybody who is overweight or struggling with their health, but the real body positivity is being in good health, taking care of yourself, and encouraging others to do the same. Yeah, you can have compassion for people who are having a hard time, you know, with their health or their weight or whatever. But, you know, just encourage people to get, you know, to get into good health, to stay in shape, right? It's not, you know, it's not about being skinny. It's about being healthy. And yeah, there are people that don't, you can be healthy and be a few pounds overweight. You can be healthy and not be, you know, rail thin. In fact, that might be unhealthy. But just, you know, a good balance in life is also a healthy way to live. Water, right? Drink water. Not New York City water, but drink water. Okay. There's my health tips for the day. I'm going to quote an Instagram influencer. There's my health tips for the day. Now Venmo me $5. Don't drink East Palestine water or Palestinian water or Gaza water. Don't drink any water from there. All right, last thing is cool. From Nate Bear. The AI drones used in Gaza now surveilling American cities. AI-powered quadricopter drones used by the IDF to commit genocide in Gaza are flying over American cities, surveilling protesters and automatically uploading millions of images to an evidence database. The drones are made by a computer company called Skydio. Data center water. Not water from plastic bottles. Exactly. You guys know what's up. Good water, you know, from like a mountain stream. Drones are made by a company called Skydio, which in the last few years has gone from relative obscurity to quietly becoming a multi-billion-dollar company and the largest drone manufacturer in the U.S. The extent of Skydio drone usage across the U.S. and the extent to which their usage has grown in just a few years is extraordinary. The company has contracts with more than 800 law enforcement and security agencies across the country, up from 320 in March last year. And their drones are being launched hundreds of times a day to monitor people in towns and cities across the country. See flock cameras. Skydio has extensive links with some country that shall remain nameless. In the first weeks of the genocide The California-based company sent more than 100 drones to California. Man, sent more than 100 drones to the IDF with promises of more to come. There's more where that came from. Benjamin. How many more were delivered since that admission is unknown. Skydio has an office in Israel and partners with Defense Sync, a local military drone contractor operating as a middleman between drone manufacturers and the IDF. Skydio has also raised millions of dollars from Israeli American venture capitalists and from the venture capital funds with extensive investments in Israel, including, you guessed it, Mark Andreessen's firm, Andreessen Horowitz, which actually also funds Substack, Beware, People Beware, or A16Z. And now these drones, tested in genocide and refined on Palestinians, are swarming American cities. According to my research, almost every large American city has signed a contract with Skydio in the last, that's a dumb name, Skidio or Skydio, in the last, Skydio, over the last 18 months, including Boston, Chicago, Philadelphia, San Diego, Cleveland, and Jacksonville. Skydio drones are recently used by city police departments to gather information at the No Kings protests. And were also used by Yale to spy on the anti-genocide protest camp set up by the students at the university last year. Where did those anti-genocide protests go? I wonder. Everybody got kicked in the teeth. Oh, who was president during that time? Biden, Trump. It doesn't matter. Same dudes. In Miami, Skydio drones are being used to spy on spring breakers. And in Atlanta, the company has partnered with the Atlanta Police Foundation to install a permanent drone station within the massive new Atlanta Public Safety Training Center. Wow. Wow. Detroit recently spent nearly $300,000 on 14 Skydio drones, according to a city procurement report. Last month, ICE bought an X10D Skydio drone. Whoa. X10D, you say, which automatically tracks and pursues a target. Whoa. U.S. Customs and Border Protection has bought 33 of the same drones since July. Yikes. I'm scared. Are you guys nervous? I'm feeling a little nervous. The AI system behind Skydio drones is powered by NVIDIA chips and enables their operation without a human user. Glory. The drones have thermal imaging cameras and can operate in places where GPS doesn't work, so-called GPS-denied environments. Wow. They also reconstruct buildings and other infrastructure in 3D and can fly at more than 30 miles per hour. The New York police were early adopters of Skydio drones and are particularly enthusiastic users. Yippee, Skippy, Yahoo! A spokesman recently told a drone news website that the NYPD launched more than 20,000 drone flights in less than a year, which would mean drones are being launched around the city 55 times per day. A city report last year said the NYPD at the same time was operating 41 Skydio drones. A recent Federal Aviation Authority rule change, however, means that the number will undoubtedly have increased and more generally underpins the massive expansion in the use of Skydio drones. I hate the name Skydio right now. Prior to March this year, FAA rules meant that drones couldn't be used by U.S. security forces if the operator kept the drone. Could only be used by U.S. security forces if the operator kept the drone in sight. They also couldn't be used over crowded city streets. An FAA waiver issued that month opened the floodgates, allowing police and security agencies to operate drones beyond a visual line of sight and over large crowds of people. Skydio called the waiver groundbreaking. It was. The change has ushered in a Skydio drone buying spree by U.S. police and security forces, with many now employing what is called a drone as first responder program. Without the need to see the drone and with drones free to cruise over city streets, the police are increasingly sending drones before humans to call-outs and for broader investigative purposes. Cincinnati, for example, says that by the end of this year, 90% of all call-outs will be serviced first by a Skydio drone. The extensive level of coverage is enabled by Skydio's docking platform hardware. These launch pads are placed in locations around a city, enabling drones to be remote charged, launched, and landed many miles away from police headquarters. After launch, all the information gathered by these flights is both saved to an internal SD card and automatically uploaded to special software configured for law enforcement. The software is made by Axon, a major financial backer of Skydio and the controversial maker of tasers and less lethal weapons used by police departments in the U.S. and across the West. Something tells me that Axon is going to be linked to, let me guess, Sweden. The software Axon Evidence enables, in the words of an Axon press release, the automatic uploads of photos and video footage from drones into a digital evidence management system. Axon's equipment is also central to Israel's infrastructure of apartheid, with the company providing body cameras and tasers to Israeli police forces and prison guards who routinely torture Palestinians. Axon, which participated in a $220 million Series E round of funding, and Skydio is just one of the many entities backing Skydio who serve a Zionist agenda. Or Swedish agenda, whichever you like. Skydio's first investor in 2015 was Andreessen Horowitz, which provided $3 million of seed capital to the three-man team behind the drone maker. They have since invested tens of millions across numerous funding rounds. The founders of A16Z, Mark Andreessen and Ben Horowitz, are both notorious Zionists. The firm was the most active venture capital investor in Israel in 2024. And this summer, Andreessen and Horowitz visited Israel to meet with tech companies founded by ex-IDF and Unit 8200 war criminals. Yay. Other Skydio investors include Next 47, which has an office in Israel, headed by Moshe Zilberstein. That's his name, who worked in the IDF's computer spy center, MAMRAM. And Hercules Capital, where do they get these names? Hercules Capital, whose managing director, Elitamar Adnahan, is an Israeli American described by Israeli media as Israel's go-to tech banker in the U.S. The saturation of U.S. police departments with drone technology so closely connected to Israel, technology used to carry out war crimes, is a frightening, if not unsurprising, development. Skydio drones will be central to the rapidly advancing proto-fascism in the U.S. and the crackdown on Antifa and other so-called domestic terrorists by the Trump administration. In this context, the bigger surprise is that the rapid expansion of Israeli-linked surveillance drone technology across America has so far gone largely under the radar. It's almost over. Skydio should also make it onto the agenda of Zohran Mamdani, recently criticized for saying, when the boot of the NYPD is on your neck, it's been laced by the IDF. Good sentence. Good tagline. Skydio is just another example that shows he's right. If he has the courage of his convictions, he could do worse than use his power as mayor to shut down the NYPD's Skydio deal. Skydio is also a large supplier to the Department of Defense, recently signing a contract to provide the U.S. Army with reconnaissance drones. As a significant supplier to both military and civilian security forces, it raises questions about what information is or will be shared between the U.S. military and domestic security agencies, I'm guessing all of it, via the Skydio Axon Digital Evidence Management System, or DEMS for short. Digital Evidence Management System, DEMS. Skydio shows once again how Gaza is the laboratory for weapons makers, the place where new surveillance and apartheid technologies are tested before being refined and used in the West. And next year, Skydio is rolling out new indoor drones. Yay. We can only speculate as to what extent these drones were informed by the learnings accrued via genocide. The story of Skydio shows that what happens in Gaza doesn't stay in Gaza. The logic of capitalist imperialism means these technologies will always find their way home. All right, guys, if you like the show, if you want to support the show, you know the ways to do it. There are lots of links in the description box of either Odyssey or YouTube, or you can, support me on Substack. Enjoy your weekend. I have got to sign off. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. If you haven't done it already, go on over to the Matador page, my Bandcamp page, and check out some new tunes I have put out over the last week or two. That's about it. I will see you all on Monday, and if get some candy or something tonight. If you're gonna, I don't know, get a bag of candy, sit on the couch, eat it all. Is that supporting good health? I don't know. All right. Beware the bear.